I'm Patrick Crockett. I'm going to teach you how to build your very own computer. Let's go. Before we get into the whole hardware of the system, I want to talk about why you would actually want to build your own opposed to buying one that's already been built for you. You see, with your own computer, you can pick out your own parts. You get the quality that you know is coming from these name brands, and you get to organize it the way that you want it. And with these companies that build the PCs and put everything together for you, the quality can definitely be shoddy, and they can charge you more since they put everything together. And you see, that's kind of been the whole issue with building your own, because a lot of people are scared to put everything together by themselves, where they could just buy the computer from the manufacturer who, there's no problems with, and there's probably a very small percentage that they're going to mess something up. So, but the truth is, it's not worth it to buy the pre-built. I mean, when you build it yourself, it may seem a little daunting at first with all the parts and all the stuff that you've never seen before, but it's really not too bad. I mean, when I made mine, I really could not even put like a Lego together. Like, it was extremely difficult to even grasp the idea of putting all the technology in here together. But it's not too bad, and I'm going to show you really soon about what it actually takes on the inside. So let's get to it. All right, now we've talked about why you should build your own computer. Let's talk about how you put some of this stuff in and what all these parts really are inside of it. So I'm going to start with the CPU. That's behind this CPU cooler fan. The CPU is the central processing unit. The central processing unit is what allows your computer to interact with the different applications which you open. And then what the CPU is connected to is the motherboard. That's the big thing back here. And the motherboard is what connects all your different components in your PC and allows for everything to run simultaneously. And it really just lets the parts talk to each other and communicate so that they know what to do. And then you have your RAM. Your RAM basically is like temporary storage for when you download something on your computer, and it just is what really determines how fast everything runs. And then you have your graphics card, or your GPU. This is also known as your graphics processing unit. Your graphics processing unit is just basically what shows the visuals of your computer. Like if you're to play a game, it allows it to run at different frames per second, or FPS, which your graphics card controls. And with a nicer one, you're going to get higher graphics, so the image might be a little bit more crisp. But with a lower one, then you're not going to get as high quality graphics, although it's better for when you're on a budget. All right, so you also have your Wi-Fi card. Your Wi-Fi card is what allows your computer to connect to your local internet and basically just pretty much do anything on the internet. So without it, then the computer would be pretty much useless, except for local things like if you were to write just for yourself, I guess. And then there's some things you can't see, which in here there's a power supply, and a power supply obviously is just gonna supply energy to your computer and allow for your fans to run. Like you have a fan here, a fan here, and a fan here, which just keep everything cool so everything doesn't overheat, since it's constantly moving and going at the same time, so it's easy for it to rise in temperature without any stopping. Also, you have or I have at least, an SSD in the back, which is, I think it's a Western Blue 500 gigabyte hard drive, which basically just stores any data that I need. Which everybody needs, because data is pretty important to your whole computer, because it allows for everything to be on there, like different documents and files and pretty much anything that you want to keep. So along with that, I'll show you maybe just how to use some of these things, like the RAM here. I'll show you how to take it out and put it back in. So a lot of the stuff works on a lever system, and what you do with this, you can see these two levers here, and when you push them down, they will allow for the RAM to open up. And so I'm just gonna do it with my thumb because it's just a little easier. So now that both of the levers have been pushed down, I can just pull the RAM right out. And once I pulled it right out, I'll show you guys what it looks like here. And then you notice there's a little notch here, which is so you can tell where to put it right here. And then when you put this back in, you can just pay attention to that notch and line it up just so. And then what's good about the whole lever thing is that when you put it in the second time, the sides will just like click once they go in, so you can tell that you did it right. But you need to be a little bit forceful. Like, you don't want to you obviously don't want to break it, but you want to push so that it's hard enough that they click. So we're just gonna wait for the one side click there, and then the other side clicks right there. And so now we have both those back in. And the other stuff is really pretty simple. This Wi-Fi card operates on the same system where the levers, you just push it down and you can take it out. So does the graphics card. After you unscrew a couple of screws along this side right here, you can pretty much, if you unplug this, just pull it right out. And then with the CPU, it's a little different in the fan, because the fan, there's 4 screws. There's one here, one back here, one here, and one here. And with those, you just are just going to come from above. It's good to have like a magnetic screwdriver a lot of the times, because these screws, like these ones in specific, will fall and they'll be hard to grab, and you don't want to touch your CPU at all. It's extremely important because you don't want to damage it in any way. And then the CPU itself is it isn't too difficult, but you need to be extremely careful, like I said, because damaging it would pretty much ruin your whole system, and they're extremely expensive to replace. So you need to be careful with that. So like on the CPU itself, it's going to be a square, and then in the square there's going to be a corner, like the top right corner is going to have a triangle, and then down here there's going to be a corresponding triangle, so you know exactly how to set it in. And it's really just, it's pretty simple with just getting everything in like that. Like the power supply is just a few screws, I think, and the hard drive is just a few screws in the back. So with magnetic screwdrivers, it's pretty easy. And with that said, the only thing you really have left is your wires. And your wires, it's just a matter of like reading instructions and knowing that each one kind of corresponds to a specific symbol on the motherboard. So after you figure that out, then you're pretty much good. I also want to show you guys the website I use to pick all my parts for my PC and kind of organize my different thoughts. So get ready for it, because it's coming right now.
So the website I want to show you here is pcpartpick.com. And this is a great website because you have build guides where you can see how to build your own and what parts they used at specific price points. And you have completed builds, which other people actually have made. And they'll tell you a little bit about what they used and how they did it. But the function that I want to show here is System Builder. So what's great about System Builder is you can pick the individual parts that you want, and then you can just insert those into your list of things that you're going to buy so you can make your build. And what it does is it pulls all different things off of all different price points off of different websites. So it's going to take the best one that there is. So it shows Newegg. So you just click buy, and you can buy it right off of Newegg if you want, or you can go back from this and you can go on to the beginning thing, and you can just buy it all from Amazon. So you can do it all at once and continue and just purchase it all at once without having any problems like that. So it's just great because you can look at like specific specs, like an AMD Ryzen 5 2600, and this is not too expensive. And like right here, like this whole build is only $702, which is pretty great. I mean, this is excluding your other accessories like your headphones, your mouse pad, your keyboard, and your monitor. But so those will probably end up being maybe $200 more depending on what you get. But just generally, you can make PCs for about $500. Like 700 makes an okay one, 500 makes an okay one, but when you start getting up to 1,000, 1,500, you can make one that can run up to 120 frames. So yeah, this website's just a good tool, and I definitely recommend using it. So if you are trying to make your own PC, then I think this is where you need to start.
Just to sum things up, I hope I helped you guys learn a little bit about what it actually takes to build one, what might be on the inside, and the first steps in making your own. So if you want to learn a little bit more about actually how to make the PC itself on like the hardware side, about how you can actually put each individual piece in, go check out the links around this video, and I'll see you guys later.